Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, welcome to the Fighters Rep podcast with my special guest host. We're trying to do this every week as long as we're not busy. On Sunday, it's Coach Collinsworth. How you doing, Coach?
What's up, dude? How you doing, brother? I
I'm
know you're
doing good.
busy. You're always making moves, man. I know you're busy.
I'm like you, man. I'm like you, man.
Yeah, man. They. Here's the thing, man. I'm not no manager and none of that shit for real, bro. That ain't my
Yeah,
passion. That ain't where it lies or nothing. But ask me, do I trust anybody? Uh, man. You know, if
yeah,
if if I drop the ball, at least I know who dropped the ball, and it was my fault, and I can take responsibility and keep moving. But
yeah.
yeah, it's out of necessity, bro. It's stress to me. The business end.
It is. It is, man. It's a lot of stress, I can tell you from a promotional standpoint. I mean, obviously today, guys, we're going to be talking about Caleb Plant versus Benavidez. That's what we want to talk about today. But me and Coach Collinsworth, we just gotta drift back and forth into different discussions about the fight game and stuff. And I couldn't agree more. The business aspect of it is very stressful. It's very hard. And you mentioned some stuff about money and whatnot. I'm not sure what the details are, but I told you I was actually thinking about that today because I had a fighter that I respect him very much. He wants more money, you
Uh,
know, and at this point, especially in kickboxing, it's hard. It's hard because it's growing. Fighters reps definitely growing, but sometimes I can't give people what they want, and so
I'm sure
I
every
gotta
time you can't give them what they want.
I
I'm
can
sure.
yeah, we can never give them what they want,
Right,
and
right.
do I think that they deserve more? Do I think fighters deserve more? 100%. But like sometimes you also need to understand like okay, if I give people this much, the business is gone. So and then I kind of did all this work for nothing, so I
Well,
get how it is.
you know what though, and I know we want to get off the business and talk the fights.
Yeah, yeah,
But to be honest with you, it all falls back to the same thing. Boxers, coaches, everybody needs an apprenticeship program. And I ain't talking about a government funded apprenticeship program, anything like that. I'm just talking about whoever you do business dealings with, whoever's on your team, whoever's fighters rep, uh, needs to understand how the business works, man. Where the money comes from, what it takes to operate, how guys get paid. Man, look, gee, I'm gonna tell you how bad it is that fighters don't know how the fight game works. How many times have you heard this? Alright, it could be on a Facebook post publicly or whatever, and it's so, but nobody knows either, so they don't seem so embarrassed. But to me, I'm like this poor kid. Whenever they say, all right, I'm turning pro, as if it's a big splash. They making a big announcement to the world,
right.
and
It's
and
just
it's like,
everyone's gonna come from everywhere. Just
oh,
just
dude,
scoop 'em
and
up,
and the thing about it is, they tell on themselves. It's like YouTube coaches. They tell on themselves. As soon as you get to talking about the stuff's in the what they call the nuance, of
Yeah.
the conversation, the gist. I could tell within 2-3 minutes whether you belong here or not. Well, the same thing with the fighter. The fighter, you could tell in the first couple conversations, does he know how the business works or not? And if he doesn't, it would be better off for management, promotions, everybody to go ahead and educate him right then and there, instead of
Yeah.
holding it back. That's that old Don King shit, and it happens on every level. You hold everything back to where you can long handle spoon the fighter. So if I'm holding everything back from you, by the time I give you $100,000, you think you done made it. It doesn't matter what I made. Well, it doesn't matter if the fighter is a $2,000 fighter, right? You can be holding back information, and by the time he's so fucking his ribs is showing, you dump $2,000 on him, he thinks he hit a fucking lottery.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he should have had a job at Walmart while he's training in order to live and all those things. But yeah, man, the business is very stressful, especially when you're I liken myself a purist. As far as the science. That's my
Yeah.
actual love, not the business part.
Me too. Me too. But I kind of, of course, I stuck myself in this position where I have to, and you have to, as a coach who often acts as a manager, I'm sure, because that's typically the person who's acting as the manager for a fighter since they don't typically have managers. So you're often stuck in that position. I will say, our last conversation, or a couple conversations ago, you mentioned that there's managers for a reason, and my goodness, is I mean that never rang truer than this last event that I had where I think I told you, I mean, guys took to social media and just said stuff, and I was just like, oh my Lord, you should never. I mean, some of these guys should just not be talking, because people get upset when things don't go their way, and they think social media is their therapist, and it's not your therapist. It's the place for everyone to see how much of a buffoon you can be if you don't allow someone to speak on your behalf sometimes. So I definitely recommend for everybody, especially if you're a fighter or a promoter that doesn't have a lot of great skills dealing with people, definitely get someone to speak on your behalf. It might be in your best interest.
If for nothing else, to have that buffer between
Yeah.
yourself and the community, yourself and your promoter, yourself and everybody. If you're
Yeah.
gonna play the game right and it's a correct manager, because that buffer. Managers. Listen, there's great managers, there's shitty managers, there's managers that spend money on fighters and that's not even their job, but they want to call themselves a boxing manager.
Right.
But it's silly. And then wonder why the fighter puts them under so much pressure at some point. It's because you're giving him money he didn't get. He didn't earn nothing. He didn't, and now he's demanding that shit. But again,
Right.
that's the business of fighting. But but people don't understand, man. That buffer's important. You know what I'm saying, to the public. That uh, you know, I hate the I hate the gimmick shit, bro. And I know we live in a gimmick world, and I got to pay attention to it. That's why I don't share too much of those quotes. You made one of me one time, and I appreciated it. It was nice, but I
It
tend to
was
take
long though. That was a long one. It
yeah,
wasn't.
yeah. I tend to take quotes outside of sports to use for mine, right? Because it's
Mhm.
just the sports are so it's so specific that a lot of time those what's that rapper that rap motivational guy, and he screams at you the whole time and shit. Well, that shit sounds good, but that shit could be bucking you up to do stuff wrong. If you're doing stuff
Yeah.
wrong, you getting excited about doing it wrong, but you need that buffer, man, because again, what they call that, plausible in all the movies, plausible deniability. At least the fighter got somebody in between. Oh, I made that decision. He didn't even do it.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But until people's watching, that don't even matter.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's get to this conversation because this is a juicy one. I think this is a huge fight. It's coming up this weekend. It's in
Is
Las
it
Vegas at the
is it huge?
MGM.
Is it huge?
I think it's a huge fight. I think Caleb Plant versus. I mean, you
Like, is
may
it is
disagree
it huge? No, no,
strongly.
no, 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 no. Seriously, business wise, promoter hat wise,
I
is
think
it is it a huge fight?
you know. Here's why I think it's.
It's huge for me. Let me say that. But
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
because I'm such a Benavidez guy. But is it big? I want to get your thoughts on that.
I think Benavidez is definitely a guy that's considered one of the best and one of the most dangerous fighters in boxing right now. But he hasn't had that big fight yet.
Coming
I
out
don't think
party.
he's had that big fight yet.
That coming out party.
Yeah, yeah, and I think this fight is as close to that. I mean, I think this is it right here.
Well,
I
Hasn't Plant made it to the mountaintop? I mean, he fought Canelo. He got what Davis still looking for. So
Right.
you're right. I think this is Davis' opportunity to blow all the whistles, click all the switches, everything.
And
But
they're both.
is it a big fight in boxing? Is what I was saying. But go ahead.
And I'm going to hit it from the promotional angle, and then I want to hear what you think about the boxing angle as well, and I give you my opinion. But I think it's big from a promotional angle. Like I said, Benavidez is this guy that everybody's been talking about. Everybody's talking about Benavidez as far
Yay
as
or nay? Right. Yay or nay? You
yeah,
got the
yeah,
believers and the people that think he's nothing. Right.
right. And he's not only big for the casuals, he's big for the hardcores. Right?
I,
He's big
I
for the
think
hardcore.
I think I'm hardcore as it gets, bro. And bro, I'm so fucking high on this kid. It's ridiculous.
Right, right. That's what I'm saying. So it kind of has that social proofing, right? Because you got even the people that don't know about boxing, like, damn, I want to watch the Mexican Monster, especially when Tyson called him the Mexican Monster. I mean, I think that took him to another level. When you got
Bro,
Tyson,
with Tyson, bro, when Tyson, that people don't understand, man. You had seven. What was it? Seven we counted the other day. You had seven superstar fighters that transcended boxing in history, in my opinion. And that history is a couple thousand years. A lot of people don't understand that either.
yeah, yeah,
But and Mike Tyson's one of those guys. So when he
right.
speaks, it matters. It's kind of like Madoff before he got pinched. They say Madoff used to go to the exchange, bro, and if he fucking bought something, the whole place bought something, and that's crazy, bro. And Tyson's like that. So when he said that to that kid, and he said to people, "This dude's scary, man," I'm going right, right, Mike. I'm right there with you, bro. I've been saying it for a minute.
And that's the biggest cosign you can get.
Yes,
That's the
yes,
biggest cosign you can get.
right. Who
You know
else?
what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
I think De La Hoya's opinions is kind of tainted now.
But that's not, yeah, but that's not, bro. But he's not
Right.
Tyson.
Well, that's what I was saying. The only other one that was formidable to Tyson, would you say, was Oscar at some point in his heyday?
Yeah, yeah.
But now that shit's gone, bro. Tyson is like the he can gift you, and at least everybody pay attention. You can screw it up, but he
He
can
can
gift
knight
you.
you. He can
Yes.
knight you in boxing.
Yes. I love Mike, bro. So I'm
That's
glad for
Sir
that.
Mike. That's Sir Mike. We'll call him
Yes,
Sir
man.
Mike. And then so for me, it's not only that, and you got Tyson calling him the Mexican Monster, and you got everyone seeing his potential, and you got his history of what he's done, and youngest, I think, in the division to win a championship, and so on and so forth.
Already a two-time, yeah.
And then he's the Mexican Monster. He's Mexican American. I mean, and we just got to be honest. I mean, the Mexican fans, the Mexican American fans, and boxing.
Let me ask you this. Cause I'm in Tejas, but you being in Cali, bro. Let me ask you:
Mm-hmm.
Are you getting that? Are the Mexicans out there behind David? Are they behind him? Because I don't really. I feel like I'm higher on David Benavidez than the Mexican guys I fool with. Not that they not for him or behind him either, but it's not. But then again, shit, I felt that about Canelo, bro. Like the Mexicans were so divided between him, and for whatever reason. But maybe it's too early for David. But I'm so hyped and amped up. But I don't see it here. Is it like that in Cali or no?
I think it is, and I think the Mexican fan base is big enough to be divided. You know what I mean?
Oh
They're
yeah,
big enough to be divided.
absolutely.
And it's still significant. So even if they were, but here I think they're definitely, they're
What
going to
is
see
that?
the Mexican. What's that?
What is that? Why aren't they high on him? Is it because he's American? Is that what
On
it is?
on Benavidez?
Yeah, on like I feel the Mexican fan base either aren't on him yet fully,
Yeah.
or they're divided. So why is that? Is it too early in his career, or is it they just going to be divided on him because he's American, or what?
I'm not-
I mean, Or do you not see that? And am I just
I'm,
seeing something?
yeah, maybe that's more on your end. I mean, I haven't heard too much about it here. I just figure, he's the Mexican monster. He's David Benavidez. They're going to see him in there against a guy that's not Mexican, basically, and they're going to be, usually they're
Oh,
going
they
to
gonna
go
be yeah. They'll be
like
with
any
him.
nationality. They're just going to like any nationality. They're just going to go with their guy, and
Maybe
then you
I'm
got
just so hype on them that I don't see it like I normally would or something. Maybe that's what it is. But I seen it
well,
with
that's because
Canelo and they didn't see it either. Some people.
I
But go
think
ahead.
that's because me and you see people beyond that kind of stuff. We see
Right.
them for. I think we're the same in that sense. We see people for their talents and their character, as
Regardless,
opposed to
man.
other stuff. I don't really care about it too much either. But I have to point it out because that fan base. I mean, for me, you ask me about boxing fan bases. I got to put the UK and Mexico like
That's it. That's
right
one and two.
here.
That's
I
one and
mean,
two.
yeah,
And be
yeah.
honest with you, I don't know who's one or two. I don't know. It's
Me
that
neither.
strong.
Yeah,
Uh,
me neither.
in the American fan base, much like politics and everything else, we're so divided.
Yeah,
Right now
yeah,
to where we haven't. There's always been the Ali and the others. Right? There's always been that. That ain't what I'm
yeah.
talking about. I'm talking about, man, we're so divided in this country, bro, that it's crazy. Our boxing is, I'm telling you, bro, there's people rooting for
Yeah.
promoters. What the fuck is that, man?
Right, right,
They
right,
rooting for
man. That's
promoters, man,
wild.
and management
Wow.
instead of the fighter. It's
Yeah, I'm
crazy.
not interested in that at all. I'm not
Now,
interested in
whatsoever, man, I don't rep, I rep whatever promoter my kids fighting for. If they give me a shirt, I'll wear it.
yeah,
But
nah,
other than
yeah,
that, bro, I'm repping this kid. And that's and that it reminds me of something right quick. All the gimmick shit I was talking about, all the gimmick and catchphrases and shit, and now reputation is brand, right? Now it's your brand. Well, guess what, bro? When you go in here, when these young fighters go in there and bash fighters rep, you don't. If I'm running fighters rep, well, you don't get a second chance. You don't get a part two because
oh
we're
no,
we're
definitely not.
building we're building
Yep.
our reputation. And I don't need you running around doing this and saying that and doing this because you don't understand the game. And
Yeah,
guess what? And to everybody who takes offense to understanding the game, we all didn't understand the game at some point. We all
right.
didn't understand. We all had to get in where we fit in. Some of us was groomed right, apprenticed right, and some of us weren't. Some of us are freestyling till we get it. But when you
Some
go in
of
that
us will
social,
never get it.
and
Some of
some of
us
us
will
will
never
never
get
get
it.
it. So you're on internet bad mouthing somebody that gives you an opportunity. At the end of the day, you just get an opportunity to be seen. If and as a fighter, you're supposed to be building your reputation. And if you shitting on a promotion, which is shitting on yourself, you
Right,
chasing your tail, man. But
right.
that's what I wanted to say about that. I forgot, and you
That's all
reminded me of it.
all good.
You reminded me of it.
And then I wanted to say, and then we got Caleb Plant, man, which I know he's not your favorite, and I'm going to say that because his school of boxing is the antithesis, I want to say, or maybe antithetical to your school of boxing, that the
And
style
that's
that you
all it
believe
is.
in, maybe.
And that's all it is,
Okay,
bro. I don't
okay,
got no beef with that kid. That kid
right,
showed me.
right,
That kid showed me uh against Canelo, even though he had a little sissy part, in my opinion, in there. But he took it. He took that ass whooping and tried. So
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah,
so and I'm talking about when he was like, "Hey, I'm pretty good, huh?" So that's cop and please, bro. In my world, that's
yeah,
a plea cop. And even
yeah,
Canelo kind of grinned at it and shit. And that's because that's when he knew he got you, bro. I just applied some pressure and you gonna fold, bro, like laundry. But here's
yeah,
the thing: he showed even with that. Well, I thought that's who he probably was anyway. But with that, he showed me he will try to win. He is going to fight hard as he can and do what he has. So it's right. It's just the antithesis of my body. He's like the anti what I believe in. So it's nothing personal. And to be honest with you, uh, I respect him as a fighter, bro. I respect him as a fighter, dude.
He's
And I
just
I
he's
didn't.
just
I didn't before, to be honest with you, but I do. I do. I do
he's
now.
just he's just the Roy Jones to your Bernard Hopkins. That's all it is.
That's exactly what it is. And guess what?
That's what it is.
Caleb Plant, shout out to you, bro. I hope you don't get hurt. I hope everything's fine. You go home to your wife, and I believe y'all have children and everything, man. I don't want to. Hey, and I believe he's gonna try it, bro. I just don't
Yeah.
think. I just don't think it's gonna. It's a
Right.
skill for skill thing. He can clip him. Everybody can get clipped if David
Yeah.
fights emotional, but yeah, bro. So I ain't got shit to do with Plant, bro. I ain't wishing him. I want him to fight hard, man. But there's some people that think that athleticism and that's what they're impressed with. So they
Right.
feel like he got a shot. Let's see.
And from a promotional side, I mean, he's intriguing. The guy's intriguing. I mean, this kid from Tennessee, where typically there aren't a lot of fighters. I mean,
And made it to the mountaintop, bro. That's
you know,
that's
and
that's a hell of an accomplishment.
and he's done well. And he gave. I thought he did. I thought he did give a good account of himself against Canelo. I did think he did that. And I thought, his knockout of Anthony Durrell was pretty impressive when he
Yeah,
did
I'm a dog guy. That pissed me off,
when he did do that.
but he did it
And
right.
and he does have, at times, good defense. He's got good movement. Like you said,
Well,
he's
he's got
athletic.
athleticism. He's
He's
definitely
got he's
got good
athletic.
athleticism, good rhythm, good combinations, and all that. It's just,
Right, right,
he's got upside. He's got upside. I
right.
see why people, the fans he has likes him. I mean,
Well,
it's not incredibly hard to understand what they're looking at and what they're impressed with. So
right.
I get why. And like I said, how I happen to think you have to be a great athlete to be a subpar boxing and get to a title. I think you got to be uh way above average athlete to do that, and
Yeah,
he did it,
yeah,
and he did it, bro.
yeah, yeah. No, he's definitely a really good athlete, great athlete, maybe
Yes,
even. And I think the bad blood too, right? The bad blood, the video of them arguing in the gym and almost getting in a fight, and it's Mexico versus the United States, and it's this white kid versus this Mexican kid, and it's just it's kind of got everything, right? And it's at the highest level, and they're both in their prime. I mean, I want to say, what's David, late 20s, mid to late 20s.
is it even late?
Plant,
Yeah, shit,
yeah,
25 or
Plant,
something. Yeah,
yeah, and Plant's still 30 years old. They're
a
both
young 30, a
essentially
young 30, a
yeah,
young 30, right? That kid hasn't been beat on or nothing, right?
right. So it's got
Intrigue.
everyone's attention. Yeah, it's an interesting fight, and then I think it'll be a competitive. I do think it'll be a good fight while it lasts. I do think it could be competitive if I'll say this: if Caleb moves around a lot and does, I heard Bozianis say something. I was listening to Bozianis. He
Shout out
said,
Bozy.
"Shout out to him." I don't know. Do you know him, Coach? Because I don't know him.
I fought against him. Yeah,
Oh, okay, okay. So he
good
said,
guy,
like
good guy.
he said, he could make it a good fight, if he moves around and ties David up when they close the distance. I agreed with that. I was like, that's probably his best shot is
He's
to
gonna
move
have to.
around.
He's gonna have
Yeah,
to
pot
because
right,
he ain't gonna be able to move around. That's gonna be the problem.
right, right.
That's gonna be the
He's gonna
problem because Davis go chop step and for every long step that Plant has to take in order to get away from him to reset the punch. David, once he gets in the groove, is gonna be right there. He's gonna just
right,
constantly. It's never gonna stop. It's never gonna stop. And unless Caleb catches him, whoop, with something, because it can happen. He's a big kid. Uh,
and he can hit hard. He did show he can hit
yes.
pretty. I mean, I've heard he can hit pretty hard
Well, and the
too.
thing
So
is, his record doesn't say it, but guess what? I'm gonna tell you something else too. Them Charlos, Jamel, the undisputed champion, his record don't say he can punch either. If you go look at it, and he's known as a puncher, but he's knocked dudes completely
yeah,
out of there, so he can punch regardless of if he's known as a puncher or got a bunch of knockouts. And I don't think Plant got a bunch of knockouts. Here's one thing. David's, and as a trainer, it's fucking scary, dude. It's scary. David he don't really one punch knockout dudes neither. He beats you up, man.
yeah,
He breaks boys. And not to give it away because I'll wait if we gonna do a segment on our picks or whatever. But he breaks dudes mentally
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
physically. So I heard a thing yesterday, and boy, I agreed with that. And but I wouldn't share the shit because I didn't know who it is or what else they talking about, whatever. But he's this guy said you got to be harder than your opponent and mentally stronger, right? And though that seems very simple, it's so true because fighters like David Benavidez, and there's been buku David Benavidez's throughout boxing, right? But they mentally and physically break that opponent down, and he never stops coming, dude. He never stops coming. I had to tell one of my amateurs here in the Latin, I love him to death. Uh, and he's open now, but he's still green, and he just so happened got into the championship with an open fighter who's a bad little kid we know, and I had to tell him in the round, listen, son, he ain't gonna go away, bro. You fighting to keep him off you. He's going nowhere. In fact, fighting to keep him off you, making him come more.
Mm.
So stand your fucking ground and be a man, bro. That's it. Cause the boxing the boxing's out the window now. It's now time to stand your ground, bro. And so that's what these guys find. And a lot of time when they just great athletes and been getting by with athleticism and shit, that mental part is what breaks them guys because they can physically play freeze tag, right? They could touch you and make you miss them, and touch you and make you miss them, and touch, but only so long. Because this other guy is hitting you in your body, hitting you in your arms, hitting you in your chest, hitting you on top of the head, hitting you everywhere, and he won't stop, and he keeps coming. And finally, you just get mentally exhausted, and you
Yeah.
can't run away. But uh, that's kind of why the athlete versus the pugilist debate is one that, okay, yeah, but how long? How long can you do that? How long can you out reflex me?
Right.
And if I know how to disrupt reflexes, what then?
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
you got Bernard Hopkins essentially
Yeah.
thinking
Yeah.
wise. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, bro. I think he's definitely a formidable opponent. Definitely what the top three? They the top three 6 days, right? Canelo,
They
David,
gotta be. Yeah. Yeah. They
Plant.
gotta be.
Because the
Yeah.
dog got knocked off. The dog had to be up in that mix, but he got knocked off. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, man.
So now you piqued my interest about something. So at some point for everyone, basically, like the technique goes out the window, and you kind of just got to bite down.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, 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 yeah.
But I'm sure there's things. I mean, I'm sure there's things you could do in a situation like that that you know of that
Well, it
still involves
really, it
technique.
really, well, no, no, no. It really matters about proper technique in those instances because
Right.
when you gotta get aggressive, you better be bringing your hands back faster than you throw them. Your
Right.
chin better be buried down. You better be looking over your glasses instead of, you know what I'm saying. You better be doing all those things, otherwise you're gonna get clipped out of there.
Yeah.
So, so the fundamentals even matter even more when you're trying to be aggressive like that.
Gotcha.
And uh you got to bite down and fight, but it really matters. Like I said, it really matters if you know what you're doing then, because that's
Yeah.
where that's where a guy can get you. You know.
Well, guys, if this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the Fighters Rep podcast. Please subscribe. Join the channel. It's just $9.99. You'll continue to help me and Coach D build this podcast and also help build Fighters Rep as a promotion.
Yeah.
Imagine that, a fan-funded promotion. We know where the money's going. If you just join and you can watch the fights, it goes down April 22nd, Fighters Rep 18. Hope you guys tune in. Hope you guys get your tickets at FightersRep.com. Coach, and actually, I want to advise you guys, follow Coach Collinsworth at or at Collinsworth Boxing Official at Instagram. You can follow us at Fighters Rep. Coach, we got some comments in the chat. Eduardo Dufau says, "Hi, I believe this fight will be more competitive than the majority of people think. If everything were attack, Benavidez wins, but defensively, I believe Plant is better." And then we'll discuss that. And then Hawker Mustang says, "I know what it is why some Mexicans don't really support him. I have some Mexican buddies. Many of the Mexican boxing fan base support Canelo, and they see Benavidez as a rival. Another thing I've heard, some don't think David is a real Mexican. They think he's Guatemalan American pretending to be a Mexican to leech on the fan base. But I think most Mexicans do support David Benavidez.
I think his mom was Guatemalan, right? His mother is Guatemalan.
I thought it
or
was
vice
Ecuador.
versa.
I thought it was Ecuadorian, but I could be
But one
wrong.
of them, right? His mother is
I think his mother is his father's Mexican. That's
okay.
what I.
Yeah.
And then,
And
but I think most Mexicans do support DB. I just hate it when people say Canelo's ducking David. If DB mops the ring with Plant, then a lot of folks will jump on the bandwagon. But if he loses, then a lot of people are going to jump off the bandwagon. Also,
Canelo,
it's a double edged.
Canelo ducks no one, bro. So
Yeah,
that's dead. That's a dead issue, man. When if David does what I think he's about to do, that's next. After Canelo gets his freebie out the way, and Canelo don't get much freebies, so the people who fucking complain about it, boy, that pisses me off as a super Canelo fan. This guy's been fighting dudes since he was fucking. He wasn't. Was he old enough to buy a cerveza?
16,
He
15.
wasn't even old enough to buy a cerveza, man, and he was fighting Sugar Shane Mosley. What the fuck are y'all talking about, dude?
Right,
What are y'all
right,
talking
right.
about? Dude, he fought Sugar Shane Mosley. If I'm Somebody correct me in the chat, because I know we got some good fight fans in here. I think he fought him like next after Pac-Man. And when Pac-Man did it, it was a world beating, great thing. Canelo does it the next fight, or maybe the fight next. Oh, it's nothing. He's washed up, he's shot.
Yeah,
I knew then. I said, man, this is a young kid who's getting in there with Sugar Shane Mosley, and a Sugar Shane Mosley at 50% is better than the average motherfucker at 100%,
right, right.
especially in big fight time. Big atmosphere,
Yeah,
and it didn't matter, man. But again, I'm a Canelo mark. I know a lot of people ain't, but if David does what he does, Canelo Alvarez will be in the ring with David Benavidez. I promise
yeah.
you. I
I
promise you,
think
that's
so
gonna
too.
happen.
I think so too. I wanted to talk about the clash of styles, Coach, because obviously you're the boxing brain on here right now, and obviously I want your opinion on that. I see it again very much the antithesis that we were talking about to your style, right? I do see it as a Roy Jones versus Bernard Hopkins type of fight with Caleb being the athlete
Prime
and
for prime.
right
Prime for prime.
and Benavidez being more of the, at least in my opinion, a lot of people will disagree, but more of the technically sound guy.
They don't know what you're talking about. That's all.
Right?
But
They don't
but
know
you
what I'm
but you're a
talking about.
1,000% right. You're a
Yeah, that's
1,000% right. It's not even close. The technical ability between David Benavidez and Caleb Plant. This is Caleb Plant. This is David Ben. It's that
I
big.
agree.
It's
I
that
agree.
huge. The problem is they get wrapped up in that counter punching, that vicious, that beat you up Mexican style he has, and don't see it. That's all. That's all. Same way they didn't see. Same way a lot of people don't. Man, do you know how great? And I was late to the party because I missed it. I'm not a Mexican, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Julio Cesar Chavez is fucking awesome, bro. He's so great, bro. Boxing wise, in his prime, he's so great, dude. And I didn't, in his heyday, I wasn't, I was Sweepy Whitaker was my other hero, right?
Right,
So
right.
I missed the boat on him, and I apologize for that. But when I finally, educated myself so much, I'm like, oh man, this guy could, not only is he, entertaining, he fights correct. Oh man, he's got everything. Oh, this dude is bad. But
Yeah.
people are so passionate about him, they don't even give him credit for the boxer I think he is. They just talk about how vicious he is and how
Right.
he would never stop and all that. Yeah, but he never stopped, and he was vicious because he was right. He was
Right.
correct the whole time, and dudes wasn't hitting him. Like people thought he was getting hit clean and shit. Nah, bro, in his prime, man, he was hard to hit like a motherfucker. But if you did hit him, it didn't bother him.
Right.
So yeah, man. So I kind of think that gets lost in translation too, bro.
I want to say also that like I heard a story. I don't know if it's true that like Chavez had a scan done of his head and it was like twice or three times the thickness of a
I
normal
don't
skull
I
or
don't know if
something
that's
like
true.
that.
I don't know if that's true, but that absolutely was part of a Showtime broadcast, and they showed the hospital, they showed the scans and everything. I remember watching that
Yeah,
live.
yeah, yeah.
Damn, I've never heard nobody say that again. But
I've
that was a
I've heard
whole, yeah, that was a real thing. Like they really did brain scans on Chavez and everything, and his skull was, yeah, or at least that's what they, they did a whole sequence on it.
yeah,
So unless it was all bullshit, you know what I'm saying? But I remember that. I remember that.
that's some build.
I was like,
If
what you
that's
do
true,
with that
that's
shit?
some bro. If that's true, that's some built for war type of shit, bro. That guy's no
Was
joke.
he ever was he ever knocked out? Really? No. I mean, I know
I never even seen him hurt. Was he ever hurt? I don't even know if he
I
was
know he
hurt.
submitted. He submitted with Oscar at the end, but he wasn't out or nothing. He wasn't hurting.
Right,
He
right,
wasn't
right.
wobbled or none of that shit. But
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, that's an iron. That's an iron cast iron skull right there. I remember
yeah.
that, bro. I remember that.
I also think you mentioned the disparity in skill, and of course I agree with you. I do think Benavidez is much more skilled, but I think also besides the fact that like David comes in and throws punches and bunches and just kind of rips people, walks people down, gets them out of there, so they only see the aggressiveness. I think people fall in love with plants like trying to be fancy and trying to be cute and athleticism, and they confuse that for skill as well, in my opinion. And
Look
and
at
I
the
don't think
fan
that.
bases, bro. Look at
Yeah,
the fan bases, bro.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
it is it's a reason why that fan base gravitates to him. It's a reason why Davis fan base gravitates. And nobody. Let me be clear. Nobody's wrong because it's all opinions.
Right.
Uh, Plant could go in there and catch my kid slipping, being overconfident, and knock his ass spark out. And
Yeah.
and then everybody can come say, "I eat crow, coach," because he was so much skilled. And look at what happened. No, no, look, this is a fist fight, man. This is controlled. This is controlled fucking chaos, man. So all it takes is a guy to throw a shot, a desperation shot that you're not, you're too close, you're not far enough away, your hands are stripping, you're in such control. We was just talking about Tony Harrison last week, great podcast. I got a bunch of people I didn't even know watch our podcasts, bro, and they was reaching out to me on that one, saying,
I
"Man,
like
that
to
was
hear
great,
that.
man, that was
I
great."
like to hear that.
So I think we got a future with this, what we doing here. But that you they could easily say, well, what happened? And then I'm gonna have to eat the crow because I could explain the X's and O's, but it ain't gonna matter because
Yeah.
you're not gonna hear what I'm saying. But even my fighters know you can be knocked out, dude, and you can be knocked out by a lesser fighter. You can be knocked out by a guy that you overlooked. You can be knocked out because you wasn't in conditioning. So Plant. We just said he's an elite athlete,
Yeah.
and he's a 6 foot, 168 pound man. He can knock anybody out. He can knock out fucking Tyson Fury if he hits him on the button.
Right.
So it's the X's and O's, bro, that we deal with as analysts and trying to give our best. What's the likelihood of happening? But it's always, listen, man. I know it's a broken record. If Joe Louis can be knocked out, bro, you can be knocked out, man. If Roberto Duran can be knocked out, like Tommy Hearns did, any man can be knocked out, man. So people need to put that shit out of their head, bro.
Except for Julio Cesar Chavez Sr.
Except for Julio Cesar Chavez, but he was cheating because he had an extra skull on his skull. That's not even fair, bro. That's not even fair. They talk about Canelo and the Mexican meat. What about the skull on the skull? You can't do the two skulls. You got to bring one skull.
Oh my God, so good. So good. I another thing I wanted to say about this fight, and the reason I think it'll be a good fight is because Caleb knows what his strengths are, what his weaknesses are. At least I think he does.
I think he does too.
And he kind of faded in that Canelo fight. Is the way he looks at it. He figures if he doesn't fade, he can keep it up. Which is the only way he's going to beat this guy, in my opinion. He's going to have to outpoint him.
The athlete thinks he needs to out athlete him. No shit.
No
shit. What else he's gonna do? He ain't gonna outbox him.
But have you seen the shape this kid's in?
No,
I mean,
I'm sure.
Shape.
I'm sure he's motivated beyond measure, and it's funny because I'm so high. Gee, have I been high on David since we knowed each other?
You have.
I think so. It's been a couple years, several years.
Yeah.
All right, so if they think he ain't shit now, they definitely didn't think he wasn't shit 3 years ago or 4 years,
Right.
whatever it was.
Right. Right.
Uh, but I haven't watched the Showtime shit, the episode shit. I just haven't had time to watch it, bro. And so I can imagine. But man, if you're gonna be motivated and listen, Caleb Plant's gonna show up. He's gonna get it. He's gonna get into the ring and shit. But nothing motivates you like, like hoes. This fucking dude is the real deal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hopefully, there's no way Plant don't know that. I don't give a fuck what they say
Oh
in
yeah.
person and his body language. The few interactions I see when they together, and I'm big on this, G, and it's a science too. I wouldn't say I have, I got it locked down, and I'm not the Tesla of body language or no shit like that. I just have experience in the fight world and watching men together, right? And every time I see them in proximity with each other, he put it this way: Plant is like Oscar De La Hoya said in his book. Did you read his biography when he dropped
I
his biography a few years
I
ago?
didn't. I didn't.
He said, "Man, them boys in East LA used to run me home every day from high school. High school." And he's the golden, national Golden Glove champ, national rank. And Oscar admitted it, and I'm paraphrasing. He said, "As long as we was in the ring with rules, right, and there's somebody to enforce the rules, I was fine. But being in East LA, right, coming up with them gangsters and them, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know shit about East LA. That's y'all area, but I'm sure it's them Mexican brothers and them street gangs and all that shit. He wasn't comfortable with that. You see what I'm saying? And that's
Yeah.
kind of what I clue into on dudes. Now, does that mean he can't win? No, absolutely not. Am I saying he's scared? No. He's going to get in the ring. He's going to fight. Uh, but body language don't, bro. If the hair on your neck stands up, something's going on, right?
Yeah.
And it's going on what's the word I'm trying to say?
Physiologically.
Yeah,
Physiologically.
your psychological is doing your physical, what you just said, and you can't stop that. You can't bluff your way out of that. So, and there's a bunch of those. It ain't just the hair on your neck and your, what they call that shit on your chicken bumps or whatever they
Yeah.
call that shit.
Goosebumps. Yeah.
Goosebumps. There's plenty of other ones. There's plenty of other ones, man.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to do a hell. I wouldn't even teach nobody that shit. You gotta earn that shit. But
Yeah. Yeah.
but I don't see that. I don't see that rare and David, on the other hand, wants to punch him in the face every time he sees him. Every time he sees him, he wants to punch this dude in the face, and he wants to say something to make him. Now, that anger's seldom good, bro. Seldom good if it's out of control, right? So,
Yeah.
you know, Plant, and I think Plant's the kind of kid, because I do follow him on shit, especially since the Canelo show. I follow him on shit, and I think he knows. I think that kid knows what he has, what he don't have, and so there's some little shit he's shooting out there, little slick shit that I think is very, very on purpose. It's not just him being a smart ass or being a little smart aleck, which is who he comes off as to me. I don't know
Like,
about to you.
like what he said, I'm gonna show up on weight and I'm not gonna test positive for cocaine.
Right. That was sissy shit that worked. I think it worked. So, is he being sissy? I don't think he's being sissy, bro. I think he's saying that shit on purpose because
For sure. For sure.
nothing affects a fighter more than, oh, you can't even get in shape because what's next? You're a bum. You're a tomato can.
You're a
can't do the
drug
work.
addict. You're a
You're
drug
a drug
addict.
addict. You're a fucking junkie. So that's gotta hit David right now. And I don't. Maybe David don't toot that dope, and hopefully he doesn't, right, at all. Hopefully that taught him, hey, dude, what the fuck are you doing? But maybe he was out with them youngsters out there in Seattle, and maybe that's what they do. I don't know. That ain't never been my shit either, G. So maybe he just got zooted that night and was tripping. Or maybe he had his little run that, that was his run
Yeah,
on that shit.
yeah,
Hopefully that's what it is because he hadn't tested positive for that shit
yeah,
ever again. And I think he missed weight one more time in COVID, but that's got to hit you where you live, man. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like
yeah.
like it's got to strike that nerve, man. But he's got to be under control in there. And the
Because
way
he
his
lost the
father,
belt. Because he lost the belt because of that too, man. Like,
yes,
and
yes,
and for him to
twice, right?
highlight,
No, once
he
he
lost
lost
another one for missing weight.
and then
I
lost
think.
one for the test,
I
right?
think.
He
Yeah.
lost his first WBC, the real title. If I'm not mistaken, he had a real title,
Yeah.
and he failed the cocaine test. And I may have all this shit wrong, so don't correct me. I mean, don't
Right.
take it as gospel. But and then he lost it on a scale, didn't he? He lost it on a scale. That was the interim title, I believe. Or
Yeah.
does he have the interim title? Not. Who can keep up with the titles, bro? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what matters is, I think, because they make, they're printing out titles like they're printing out money right now. But what matters is I think these are the two best guys not named Canelo at 168
At
pounds, and we're gonna
168
find
pounds.
out. Yeah, we're gonna find out what happens. And before I continue, let me just highlight some of the things in the chat. We said Hawker Mustang is still dropping comments. He says Canelo haters keep saying that Canelo has been ducking Benavidez. Some people hate Canelo no matter what he does. You know how it goes. We don't feel Canelo's ducking anyone. I just think he's got the right to. I think me and Coach D probably both agree he's got the right to do whatever he wants at this point. Plant will be looking to land a counterpunch knockout on Benavidez. Plant is going to need to hurt Benavidez because if he can't, then Plant's going to get ran over, I believe. And then Manitas de Piedra. Appreciate you guys coming in here. Please subscribe. It's your first time in here. Manitas de Piedra says, just want to say David Benavidez and Jesus Ramos rep in Arizona on Saturday on their way to be the next great Arizona legends after Michael Carbajal. And Chavo TV says my boy David was just turning up a little bit. LMAO, he was young. That's so funny. He was just turning up a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think he's a cocaine addict, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
Because how would he be maintaining all through this shit? But I mean, that's a hell of a blunder, bro.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
excusing it at all. Don't get me wrong. But if David Benavidez was a cocaine addict, bro, I mean, come on, man. That
I
would
mean,
shock me. That would
I mean,
shock me.
But listen to the art of war, though, that Caleb Plant used there, Coach. I mean,
Oh, it was genius.
you're
Genius.
talking about a kid, right, whose entire life is boxing. Obviously, he lost the biggest belt in the game because of that blunder. That you just blunder is a perfect word for it. And this guy is just throwing it in his face at the press conference. And I do think that Plant sees that he's got a temper.
Right.
Plant sees that Benavidez has got a temper, and he's trying to rile him up some more because maybe he figures he can gas him out and make him fight emotional. He's going to need every advantage he can get because, like Hawker said, I mean, if he doesn't hurt Benavidez, then he's going to have to be on a constant move and tie him up every time, and it's going
That's
to
a
be
failed,
an
dude. That's a
exhausting
failed
fight.
plan, bro. That's a failed plan,
Yeah.
bro. 12 rounds, bro. Listen. I'm every piece. I'm every piece to 6'1", right? And me and Dave, I got pictures with Dave and shit. And standing next to us, I mean, he's in his suit and shit. So maybe he got them old nice shoes on, but bro,
Yeah.
he felt bigger than me. And this was in one of my bigger days. When I was a good 255, 260.
Yeah.
And I felt he might have had an inch on me, bro. And he was man, he might have been right at 200 pounds. My point is that's a big old fucking super middleweight, a big old super middleweight. And you think you just gonna grab him? No, what's gonna happen is, and that's technical, because grabbing David ain't gonna wear David out. It's gonna wear you out because David is in his hips right, and he can rest there. He can put his hands and just tie your hands up and let you struggle, let you wrestle, let you do whatever you want. And the minute you get a little weaker, he's gonna push you off and hit you. So that's not a good plan either for him, for the athlete,
Yeah.
to tie up. He's gotta try to box circles and do that stick and move shit, which I don't think he can do that either for technical reasons. But that's his best bet. Because if he thinks he's gonna wrestle David Benavidez, bro, I don't see how that shit happens at all. Especially the Caleb Plant fights I seen. He don't really out muscle none of them guys. He ain't out muscling nobody. That ain't what he's
Yeah.
doing at all. So the dog wasn't letting him do that till he clipped him.
Yeah.
He clipped him because the dog didn't get that hand back or didn't see that shot. I can't remember, but it was like he was just standing there. But yeah, man, I don't see. Although I understand the thinking, like the thinking of that is right. Don't let David fight you at distance. Grab him, hold him. But I think he's gonna grab and hold because he ain't gonna have no other shit else to do. And how you gonna keep doing that? You're not gonna do that for 12 rounds, bro.
And then
You're
the
not
other
gonna do
problem
that.
is I mean, to grab him, he's gonna have to
That's a
he's
dangerous
gonna have to
place.
he's gonna have to walk in there and grab him, right? I mean, he's gonna have to go within that range to grab him, right? Yeah,
Dangerous
yeah,
place, bro. Dangerous place, man, for him, man. With that guy too. That's the
yeah,
thing. With that guy, because listen, on paper he was competitive with Canelo. I get that, but not really. Not really. Go look at it. When was Canelo in trouble? When was he under pressure? When did he felt like he was never in control? Never.
yeah,
In
yeah,
fact, in fact, in fact, he just pot shotted this kid. So why didn't he think he can get in there with a B-ball and do the same shit? Well, 6'1", 175 is a bigger man, a much bigger man, and he's seen if I can't keep my pace with that dude, I'm in trouble. So
yeah,
at some point, Canelo had to choose to be safe and not get hurt. But Canelo got options when he don't want to be safe and hurt. I don't see what Plant does unless miracles happen. I think he added some people to his corner and shit. Maybe they working on something that I don't see, but
yeah,
I don't see nothing. I mean, what dramatically is he gonna change?
yeah.
How does he win? How does he win, George? How does he win, bro?
I mean, that's kind of what I wanted to get into next. And before I said that, I wanted to let everyone on the chat know, right? Everyone watching right now know, like, I take pride in what we're doing here at Fighters Rep. I'm not going to have some bullshit guests on here for you guys. Coach Derek Collinsworth, and you can follow him at Collinsworth Boxing Official, is the, coach and trainer for some of the best fighters in the world. I mean, Quentin Randall is, I mean, one of the best. What is he? One of the best welterweights on planet Earth right now, Coach.
We had a
So
WBC silver, USNBC number 20 in the world at the WBC at welterweight.
and a
So
guy who's being avoided like the plague. Coach Collinsworth really knows what he's talking about. And I just wanted to preface now this prediction, I guess we'll call it, but it's more of a breakdown on how this fight is going to go, and what kind of game plan would you devise for each guy going forward. I guess you asked me how I think the fight will go, but I want to hear what you think first.
you know, and that's to me, it's a very vital part of my job to to or is what I do. Rather not somebody else thinks is vital is immaterial. Uh, it's very vital for me to break down the fundamental aspects of a fighter and then match them well with mine or whatever. So when I'm looking at potential fights don't have shit to do, I do the same thing. I'm looking at the strengths and weaknesses and and man, the Plant kid, like we said, he's a world class athlete. Absolutely has to be to compete at the level he does. I just believe he's so fundamentally flawed, man, and has been taught to. There's a generation of boxers that's flourishing now, that's at the top of the game now, who were brought up on the Floyd Mayweather videotape mid workouts as fundamental boxing. And here's what I mean. I'm not saying Rogers boxing or Big Floyd's boxing. Most importantly, Jesse Reed's boxing, because that's who it is. That's who taught the boys how to fight. Okay, and that's whose boxing it is. So shout out to Coach Jesse Reed. He's still alive too. I don't know him, but I know he's still around, and I'm sure he's educating everybody. But when you take a thing and water it down, G, it's kind of like why I tell you, you like, Coach, why you don't do them videos and shit? So I'll come clean now. There are certain fighters I help and make a video for a how-to video, but I'm also on the phone with them and see them in person and work with them and help them. So it's kind of like a whole thing, right? Whereas it's the book and the cliff notes and the history notes and all that shit that comes with it. But I don't think I could do a fundamental video, boxing how to box video, sell it in the fucking Ring magazine, and people are gonna be able to box off that. Not only do I think you can't do that, I think you'll fuck people up doing that, because that's the antithesis of trying to teach everybody the same way of boxing. And if that guy's physicality and faculties don't match, there's certain things he needs to do and don't do, right? Leave that alone, because that ain't for you. Add this or whatever the case may be. So when I look at the fundamentals, man, of playing, he's gonna have to die by the athleticism, bro. And he is gonna have to tie him up, but he's gotta get some shit going. And to be honest with you, what's he gonna do? Go to the right? Because David will cut him off. What's he gonna do? Keep backing away? He's just gonna chip shot him and walk in. He's gotta find a way to punch that body. And that in itself is dangerous because of how Caleb Plant appears to me to be brought up on. I'm not gonna say Mayweather because I don't know that, right? But that type of boxing. The Instagram coaches, they got 1 million followers, and everybody shares their shit and everybody likes the shit, and it's all wrong. It's all wrong. All of it's wrong. But it's hip and it's a trend. That's the style of boxing that kid has to me, not the fundamental theory. Now, does he see that as fundamental theory? I'm sure, because it's a gang of people that do. Now, this is just my opinion, bro. I could be wrong as two left shoes, but this is my opinion. So when I match him to David, who I think does everything just about as right as you can do it, other than, tempos of fighting, maybe he does get a little too reckless when he's in control. I don't like that shit, hands down, and showing a guy, I'm standing right here. Here's the thing, let's give him this, G. Let's give him this. G, if I know you can't hit me, right? And I've tested it, proven it, and I'm for certain. Well, is standing in front of you, letting you swing at me and dodging your shots and shit, is it really all that impressive? Or is it irresponsible?
Irresponsible.
Thank you. And here's my thing. At the elite level, somebody quoted this. At the elite level, everybody's fucking great. Everybody's got a shot. And everybody can knock everybody out. So why be irresponsible? I'm not for that. I'm not for that irresponsibility. Yeah. Plus, I'm watching Dave and I'm going, son, I know what you're doing. You're not really showing off because you know he can't hit you right there. So it's good for the crowd. Motherfucker, just knock him out. Just knock him out and let's go home. Do that. Right?
Yeah.
So those are the spots. I think I talked myself into it. Those are the spots that Plant need to find success. Those spots. In order to do that, he's going to have on his track shoes, plus stand his ground, plus understand his exertion. If you start getting tired, well, time to put on them track shoes, because you keep holding on, you're going to be defenseless in a second. Right? And he's going to have to juggle that. Now, I don't know his trainers. I don't know who's in the corners. I think he has his dad and who started him, and some other guy.
And Breadman, that guy Breadman from Philadelphia.
Oh, he brought the bread man on. Okay, so now he's got the bread man is I'm a huge J Rock fan. Let me leave it at that. Uh, but yeah, nah, bro. I don't see unless the bread man gets him to find those spots, those pockets to
Yeah.
win, and change pace in those fights, steal rounds, steal portions of rounds, and hopefully some of those judges are impressed with some of that shit. But that's his winnable spots, bro. He's got to find those spots, man. He's got to find those Tony Harrison moments, lapses. I just don't think David has many of those, right?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think he has many of those at all, bro. So maybe they figured out some weird combination, man, that they gonna shock the world, bro. But other
You
than that, I
know,
mean, that's his key to victory to me.
I mentioned, and this is kind of, I guess corny or cliche, but I mentioned Art of War. Sun Tzu. I think he said something. I'm paraphrasing too. When your opponent has a choleric temper, look to irritate him. And I think Plant knows what he's up against here. And I think guys that are irritated do make mistakes when they don't usually make mistakes. And I think that's what he's hoping for. But I wanted to ask you, we mentioned the clinch kind of, and again, shout out to Bozienis for kind of putting that out there because I kind of agree. Like if he's not going to hurt him, he's going to have to clinch him. What happens, Coach? Because we already talked about how he has to come into that dangerous territory to clinch him. What happens on the break with a guy like Benavidez who can throw like six punches in a split second? I mean, it seems like
Plant gets
extra
knocked out.
dangerous.
Yeah, Plant gets knocked out. That's what happens, bro.
The thing of being up there, I can't hear you that well,
Oh
Coach.
shit, my bad. I didn't even realize that.
Okay.
Uh, Plant gets knocked out
Yeah.
on the break.
Yeah.
That's what happens. And with, bruh, David has a way of looping those hooks short, inside, outside. Uh, he knows how to get around glove. He's so fucking educated, dude. Listen,
Yeah.
man. Everything I mentioned about Tony Harrison last week, David Benavidez has. I see. Short of experience. Short
Yeah.
of short of he gets in there and gets emotional and messes up. But understanding distance and range, his box where he's safe, where he's not safe, going each direction on it, win the punch most importantly. David Benavidez is a scientist when it comes to timing. A
Yeah.
scientist, bro. It's dangerous how fucking well he times guys in between shots. Uh I mean if it sounds like I'm not giving Plant, see I don't see it. I don't see it as competitive as people like my man in the chat. Even G, you feel like it's gonna be competitive till it gets clipped out.
You know,
I don't
it-
feel it's gonna be competitive at all once David settles down. Like I'm not expecting that to be more than a round. Like a
yeah,
round or two, he'll
yeah,
because when David starts shooting the jab, when David starts stepping on the jab, closing the distance, you're in trouble
yeah,
because he done said it. He done said it. He done found you. So when he
yeah.
starts stepping, you man, bruh, what are you gonna do? What are
I
you
would,
gonna do,
I
man?
would say, I would say, I would say, I think it could be competitive if Plant moves around and has the energy to keep moving and is able to clinch in a way where he doesn't get hurt on the way in and on the way out. But I mean, it's just, or he can hurt Benavidez, but it's just that chance for me is small. Like I don't think I'm
Does
with
he?
you. I don't
Does he
think
even know how to dirty box, bro? He don't.
right,
He
right.
don't know how to dirty box. You got the dirty box, David. You better be able to lock a hand in and shoot over a hand or under a hand. You better be able to stick your knee in his thigh. You better be able to hook his head. You better be able to lift that elbow. None of that. I've not only have I never seen that with this kid. I don't even think he knows that exists. I don't see,
Yeah,
that boxing world doesn't exist in his world
yeah,
unless The bread man started giving him something, and because I do know this about the bread man, bro. I've heard enough of his commentary and tweets and all that shit. I don't know him. He does understand boxing, and he understands dirty boxing. He understands those things. I don't know what gyms he came up in Philly, but I'm sure it was the real ones, right? So, uh, but Plant's gonna need all that, man. Plant's gonna need all that, bro. And I don't think you're not gonna do that. You're not gonna do that in the camp. You're not gonna get comfortable when David Benavidez is swinging fucking missiles by your ear, whoop, and you could, whoop, and you got nothing going. You ain't got the jab started. You ain't got your distance set. You ain't got nothing, man. And again, it would be different. It would be different if David didn't have the kryptonite to an athletic style. But I believe he does. I believe he knows how to stick a stick in the spokes. So when you coming on that bicycle, boom, right over the handlebars, bro. You're out of there.
And we're acting like he's not athletic. I mean, he can throw 10 punches in what, 2 seconds. So
Oh, it's
that's
ridiculous, bro.
another.
And if
Yeah,
he
that's
hurts you,
another.
if he sees a chink in the armor, bro. Oh man, he's a vicious dude,
He's
bro.
a shark. Yeah, he's a shark. So prediction for the fight, coach. Prediction for the fight.
David Benavidez by assault and battery charge. He's probably gonna get a sentence after this fight, bro. He's probably gonna have to wear an ankle monitor. Nah, David, listen. David mid rounds late, and the bread man may have to save him. Be honest with you, if you want to know
Yeah,
the truth. So mid, I'm comfortable with 6 to 9. I guess that's the safe
I
for me.
love it. I love
Six
it.
to
I
nine,
love.
bro.
I would agree. I would agree. I'm picking a stoppage. I think he gets him out of there for whatever reason. The number eight's just popping in my head. So I would say maybe eighth round, but so 6 through 9 works for me. And
David beats you up, dude. He don't clip you out. He beats you up, man. He
yeah,
beats you up. Now, when you get hurt, he gets you out of there. When he sees something, you're out of there. I mean, he'll hit you so much the ref, somebody's gonna get involved. But man, he's a vicious, vicious guy, man. I mean,
yeah,
guys who like that, and I like that. I mean, we all like that.
yeah,
So
yeah,
we like that carnage. It's just when you get the carnage inside the science, it's a fucking double whammy, right? It's like we
yeah.
get everything. So
And that's why he's so. That's why he's the monster. That's why he's the monster.
he's absolutely the monster, bro. And I tell you what, I love the red flag moniker because it's a red flag to me. I don't know. Yeah, bro. Don't if you see that dude, go this way. It's like to me. I'm serious, man. I'm serious. It's like to
Yeah,
me,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
they don't know, bro. They don't know, bro. But
I
listen,
love
man.
that
There's a
shit
few
too.
guys, bro. There's a few guys that are just mean, man. And inside that ring, and Bud Crawford's one. David Benavidez is definitely one. Uh, uh, you had in history the Roberto Durans, the Sonny Listons. Those guys were mean, bro. Those guys were cruel, man. In the
Yeah.
ring, they were cruel guys. And I see Benavidez with the same thing, man. I see him with the same thing. So I'm a love watching his career evolve, and I just don't feel like plants are bumping the road, bro. I just don't see it, bro.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't see it, dude.
I think Canelo is the only one that can, give him a hard time unless he moves up to 175, starts fighting guys like Bivol and maybe Better Biev, guys like that. But Better Biev's already, I think he's a bit older. I mean, he's still looking amazing, but but his father time's undefeated, like they say. I agree with you. Your prediction, 100,000%, coach. And what really makes me feel confident in the prediction, and of course, things can play out like crazy. Like you said, it's a fist fight. Anything can happen. He can get clipped and get knocked out of there. But the reason I see it like that is because just his stance. I always notice, man, Plant is just so heavy on that front foot, and he's got his head off to the side like this, and his hands are down so much, and he's got a reach disadvantage in this fight. He's got a height disadvantage in this fight. His hands are not as fast when it comes to the combinations. He's just not set. I'm with you. He's just not set he's just not set to my liking. Just his stance. Oh, just looking at them
His
stand.
athletics is listen,
Oh
man.
my God.
It's that stand right in front of me and watch this shit, G, and roll
Right.
and roll. Meanwhile, you're 6'1". Roll and say, yeah, it's bullshit, bro. It's the gimmick. It's the gimmick.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
they didn't buy the Jesse Reed mitt work set. They bought the who the fuck
Yeah.
knows guy making videos and doing Instagrams and putting videos in the Ring magazine and shit. That's what that is, bro. And at this elite level, man, it's the differential between that athlete and that prize fight, that pugilist, I think is gonna be a huge difference, man. Uh, I don't see, man. His put it this way, his path to victory. Can we say this?
Yeah.
His path to victory to me is a tunnel that's so small, a box that's so little
Yeah.
that he's damn near got to fight a flawless fight,
Good.
and David has to have a major night off and be in his head and overexerted and built up so much pressure on himself. He's off. We've seen that before. I've seen that. Chico Corrales, Floyd. Uh, you've seen that where the guys are they have nothing. They have nothing for the fight. You know. But yeah, his path to victory is very 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 tight, bro.
That's what I see too. That's what I see too. In the chat, Manitas de Piedra is saying Plant can definitely, but not for 12 rounds, maybe 4 rounds max. His gas tank is questionable, and Benavidez is not. Slide Tendency says so many people overlook Plant. I don't get it. DC says experience and emotionally, this is going to be a real test. We've seen Caleb with the very best. DB is very young and very emotional. Caleb Plant in his prime lost to Canelo, made him even deadlier. Uh, Hawker Mustang says coach doesn't believe that Caleb is going to be about to showboat his way to a decision win against Benavidez.
No,
Absolutely
not
not.
at all. Not at all.
DC says that ain't Plant style. Shell fighter, art of boxing, hit and don't get hit. Can't wait to holler back. Blessings. Nice channel, fellas. Appreciate you being here, guys. If it's your
Shout
first
out, bro.
time,
Shout
please
out.
subscribe. Again, you can follow us at FightersRep. You can follow Coach Collinsworth at Collinsworth Boxing Official on Instagram. Anything you guys donate to the channel, any super chats, whatever that me and Coach do together, me and Coach are going to be, splitting the funds. Also, if you join the channel, it's just $9.99 a month. You help me to build Fighters Rep Promotions, and our next event, Fighters Rep 18, is on April 22nd. Donald Rodriguez says facts. Hawker says Plant better be able to drop David with a counterpunch. Plant landed a big shot in his last fight, but he wasn't in against this big monster either. I don't think Plant's going to get it done.
I don't think that happens against the dog 3 years ago. That don't happen against the dog 3 years ago. But
Right.
I'm and it's not Caleb's Plant that he was on the end. He had pulled off a win recently and all that shit. So there's no knock to Caleb. All he's got to do is take care of the guy in front of him, and he did in dramatic fashion. But again, bro, is he a puncher? I don't know that he's a puncher, and I don't know he's a puncher because again, man, and one of the guys in the chat, I forgot your name. I forgot what you read, but he was something about the hit and don't get hit, talking about Caleb's ability.
I think that's DC, yeah.
DC, where me and DC disagree is just in fundamental boxing. That's what it is. So what I'm seeing over there and what you seeing over there, that's all. And we'll see. We're gonna get a definitive answer when they fight. I understand what DC sees when he sees Plant. I absolutely understand it. All that slick shit, all that Philly shell shit. But what I'm telling you is it really ain't. It really ain't that though. You think it is, but it's not. That's my opinion, DC. I'm sure you're a fan of boxing, been watching boxing your whole life. But I don't think that's Jesse Reed's boxing. I think that's YouTube shit. So yeah, but this is what we want here at this channel. The debate, bring it in here so then we can learn. I might learn something off you. Shit, you might say something I didn't think. I'm like, hey, damn, I didn't pick up on that. But as far as the fundamental boxing, David Benavidez don't get hit, brother. He don't get hit hardly at all. When Plant gets hit, he eats it. He eats the whole thing because he's right there to get hit. But go ahead.
That's true too. I think.
He gets, I mean, the head snaps. Wow, because he's
Yeah,
in the middle of his hips like that.
yeah. Hawker Mustang thinks Benavidez by stoppage. Also, Bandit Doc says, "Who's the biggest, strongest guy Benavidez ever fought?" I think he's definitely fought guys bigger than
Oh,
I want to say.
he fought big. The dog, bro. The dog's a big,
Yeah, the
strong kid,
dog.
bro.
Gavril.
Uh,
How about Ronald Gavril? That was a big guy too at the beginning of his
that
career.
black kid he fought with the braids, that was a big, strong kid. And
Oh, Kyron, is it Kyron Davis?
yeah, he banged him out like at the end, towards the end,
Yeah,
and he was in
yeah,
there
yeah.
banging back. Nah, Davis been in there with big guys, bro.
And he's
And
also
and,
fought David. He also fought David Lemieux and wiped him out quick. And David Lemieux's not big, but he's strong as shit. So
and he's was a world class fighter. But
yeah,
again, I'm gonna give him the same credit for beating him that I give Plant for beating the dog. Same shit to me.
right. He was over.
He was
in the
past
twilight
it.
of his career.
But
Yeah.
but if you stand there with a world champion, and you get overly what's the word I'm looking for? Thank you, because you stand there. That world champion will find a way to win, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's always there, and Plant's a world champion, so he can't allow this kid to get his shots, but no free shots where he's just overzealous and overconfident.
Right. Manitas de Piedra says Benavidez is a true throwback fighter of the 80s and 90s.
That's like Regis Prograis. Not skill wise, their skills are completely opposite, but they throwback fighters. When you look at Regis Prograis, you might as well be looking at Emil Griffin or any of those guys, bro, because he's coming, and that like I was telling my amateur, you can't hide, son. He's go and if you're trying to hide, it's gonna get worse, right? So, and Davis the same way, bro. I believe David has the ability, and we'll see when it's over.
Yeah. Shout out
He
to
has
Prograis.
he has the ability to compete in any era, bro. In any era, those boys can compete, man.
Shout out to Prograis, by the way. That guy's a badass, man. And we've
Yeah,
actually
man.
interviewed him on this channel, so a lot of love for Prograis.
Man, bro.
And I want to see him and Josh Taylor fight one more time, man, because that was amazing.
Bro, what's Josh Taylor doing, bro? I know
don't
we was
know.
both high on him. I know we both liked him.
He's kind of been sliding a little bit. I don't know what's going on with him.
When he has fought, it hasn't impressed me at all, bro.
Yeah,
At all,
yeah.
bro.
Slide
I
tendencies.
I
Go
doubt
ahead,
I
Coach.
doubt Josh Taylor ever fights Regis Prograis again. In fact, I think has he went to 47? That's where he's
I
going.
think he might have gone up.
Okay, I think his whole deal is to get in position for a cash out, not quit, not that he ain't gonna fight his ass off and try to win. I mean, he's undisputed, right? Or is he? He was undisputed,
Yeah, he was, and then I think he
Vacated.
may have left.
vacated. That's how Regis ended back up with the title. But I think Taylor knows, bro. Maybe it's motor skills. Maybe it's right. Just spent. Just. I'm done, bro. I'm tired of this shit. It could be that.
Yeah.
And once you got millions in the bank, I can be
Right.
tired, bro. It's okay for me to be tired. So let me position myself to get that welterweight shot when Earl and them figure this shit out. And I think that's his plan. I don't think he plans to go nowhere near Regis Prograis. Bro, look, Regis Prograis is a fucking problem, dude. It's
Yeah.
and in a way that, not to take over our show and switch it, but that's my homeboy. So I'm gonna I'm gonna give him props anytime. He's
Two guys from Louisiana. What are you gonna do about it?
New Orleans, bro. So but listen, I'm in the gym with this kid. We spar this kid. I'm standing across from this kid, right?
Yeah.
And listen, he won't go away, bro. Listen, man. That kid is as hungry as when I first met him, or when I first was watching him in the state in the Golden Gloves here in Houston. Same guy, and I believe, just from experience, you're gonna get better, right? Fighting at the elite level, and he's in a zone right now, which I didn't hide it from him. I didn't like the performance when he beat the shit out of Zepeda. I didn't like it at all. I told him, I said, nah, man, you made that shit far too giving this dude shots and shit, man. Fuck that. And he was like, Coach, by the time I had never felt that great, man. going into a fight. And you're right. I just said in my mind, I'm gonna beat the shit out of this guy, man. So and he fought that way, didn't he? He
Yeah.
fought that way. Like, nah, bro, I'm not going away. You hit me, so what? But as a trainer, fuck that. Don't get hit, do no shots. But Zepeda put up a gallant effort, right? Never was not trying to win that fight.
Zepeda's a tough customer, man. Zepeda's a really good fighter.
Yeah, very, very. People wasn't. When fighters lose, bro, all of a sudden they can't fight no more. That's hilarious to me, bro.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. That's the whole reason why we have fights from the fan view, right? Is the best versus the best. Somebody got to lose, bro. Now go to the gym, fix it, and come back.
By the way, shout out to Donald Rodriguez. Says great chat, guys. Subscribed. Appreciate you, Donald. Thank you for being on here, man. We really appreciate your support, guys. Like, we do this shit for a living. My fucking ass has a job during the day too. So does Coach out here running the gym. I mean, so anything you guys do to help this out, man.
Oh, bro. Yeah.
Easy, bro.
We trying to wing this shit in the little space of time we got it.
I know. Doesn't Coach think that David has some discipline issues, i.e., cocaine and missing weight? We kind of touched on this.
We covered that, Sly. And the gist was, of course, I'm not overlooking that cocaine thing. I was telling G, I don't believe the kid's a cocaine addict. Like, I believe he got pinched fucking up out there in the partying and shit. Hopefully he learned his lesson, but I don't think he's a cocaine addict competing at the level he's at. At the level he's at, I just don't. I don't believe that. I mean, we'll see. But yeah, very bad discipline thing. That and the weight cut, missing the weight. Yeah, I'm not excusing him, Sly, at all. And if he was fucking up like that for this, that can be Plant's path to victory. Yeah. That can be Plant's absolute path to victory. But yeah, we covered that.
I do want to say, since we're bringing up weight too, I mean, he looks. I've never seen Benavidez look in the shape he's in either. So I think this is going to be.
He's motivated.
Yeah, this is going to be a great fight, man.
This fight been bubbling, bro. This fight been bubbling, man.
I can't wait to watch this shit next week and do this shit again with you on Sunday after this fight, Coach.
Bro. Can you imagine if David looks bad? He wins, but he looks bad. He looks vulnerable. Oh, bro, him and Canelo. Oh man, I'm so amped up for this. I'm not overlooking Plant because he's an elite guy. He's a top 3 in the world. I don't think he don't have no chance. I just think it's small. But a Canelo versus David Benavidez fight. Oh, bro, I might lose my religion, man. I'm definitely getting a shirt made and all that shit, bro. That's 2 of my favorites, dude. And they banging out, bro. I haven't been that excited since last time I felt that way was when
we need to go to that fight together if it happens.
I'm about it.
We need to meet somewhere and go to that fight together, bro.
I'm gonna see if I can find some tickets through somebody, and if not, we just might have to spend some money and go to the nosebleed. But
I'll go, man.
I might find. You never know. Sometimes them ring sides fall in my hands. Sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro. I haven't been that excited. When did Floyd fight Chico Corrales? 98 maybe? 98?
I don't even know.
99 maybe?
Let's see. Mayweather Corrales. You guys got me on here doing research. I thought you guys were.
I'm thinking 99. I'm thinking 99.
Cat to be our go-to researcher. What year was 2001? January 2001.
All right, that's the last time that I really, and I was wrong. I was wrong that I really thought, man, we're in for some fireworks and it was lopsided. But of course, I picked Junior to win back then, but not by a lot. I really thought, And so Benavidez, Canelo, I mean, how do you go against Canelo? But at the same token, this guy's, bro. I mean, if he is what I see, right? So Man, yeah, we got to be in there for that one, but
we're gonna we're gonna need to get you support. I'm gonna need to get you counseling for that fight because
Oxygen, bro. I'm gonna be fan like a motherfucker, bro. Hey, dude,
I know
dude, I
I know
was
you don't drink and shit. But I'm gonna be buying you like chili dogs or some shit. Chill
eh,
out.
li- listen, man. I was right here. Canelo was right here in his corner post, and me and my wife, and that's my wife's favorite fighter too. And but I knew what he was about to do, Callum Smith. I knew what he was about to do him. And my wife, bless her heart, when they came out, and Callum Smith is 6'5", bro. A lot of people don't know that. Like on the poster, they put 6'3" and shit because they make Canelo as big as 5'9" sometimes, right? And he's like 5'7". He's 5'0". And they get in the ring, bro, and they walk by each other. And she said, I couldn't see Canelo when Callum Smith walked by. I couldn't see Canelo. She was like, Dad, this ain't fair. This ain't fair. This something needs to be done. I said, sit down, baby. It's gonna be all right. About 30 seconds, I had two of my fighters with me. I had Quentin and I had Danger, one of my elite open amateurs. And about 45 seconds into the fight, bro, swear to God, this happened. Danger looked down. He was a few seats down. He looked down. He said, "It's already over." I said, "Yeah, it's already over. It's already checkmate. It's just a matter of time." He was so big and so strong. He was able to, be there for them 12, but it wasn't competitive.
He basically got his arm punched out of the side.
Yeah, he got beat up bad and didn't know what was happening he didn't know what was happening until it happened, right?
Crazy. Donald Rodriguez says that gas tank is everything. If a Canelo who gasses late can catch up to Plant, David is going to brutalize him. Plant may not want to get off his stool at some point. Slide tendon. I think
very likely. Very likely that somebody stops it in the corner.
Yeah. But I do think he'll want to go out on his shield. He does seem like a prideful, tough kid.
That kid's not a coward, bro. He's not a coward at all.
Slide tendency says the WBO ordered Taylor to fight Teofimo Lopez at 140. Regis is in negotiations with Jack Catterall since Taylor pulled out of the rematch. 3 times with injuries. That's interesting because that Catterall kid, a lot of people thought he beat Josh Taylor, so for Regis to fight him, that'll be a fun fight to see how those styles. I mean, obviously, I think Regis will win, but it'll be fun to see the styles kind of clash, right? I mean, Regis from Texas.
Did we cover that fight? Because I think I remember. I thought Taylor lost that fight too. I think I remember that.
I think we mentioned it in passing, but I don't think we really had the chance to.
Okay, well, I know we talked about it or somebody, and I thought Catterall won. Be honest with you.
Yeah. Hawker Mustang says it could get ugly for Plant, but I respect the guy for getting in the ring with Benavidez. When Golovkin was prime, all the top names were ducking and dodging him. Yeah, man, Golovkin, man. Coach, I want to say this about Golovkin. I mean, I just got to give him credit. That guy's chin. I never saw. I think Tim Bradley brought it up. I never even seen that guy hurt. That guy's the punches he took. I don't get it.
I seen him hurt to the body, but even then he just shakes it off. Even then he takes a stumble step or something and then hides it. Yeah, right. He's a fucking Kazakh, huh? Eastern European, bro. They listen. I'm not no G guy. So
did you think Canelo or who did you think won the fights between him and Canelo?
I thought Triple G won the first one by maybe a round.
Yeah.
Maybe two, maybe a round, maybe a two. And I thought Canelo completely dominated him in 2 and 3. Okay. It wasn't even close. Anybody who thought it was competitive, we're not looking at the same thing.
But the fact that he beat Canelo the first time, I was really impressed by that.
But let me say this. Canelo did the exact same thing the first fight, just only them 6 rounds. So he gave the second half back to Canelo, Triple G. And was there a point taken or a knockdown or something in that fight?
That I don't remember,
But I remember when I added up my score, I had G winning, and I didn't agree with the draw at all. So, the second 2 fight, it was what he did in the first fight, but just kept doing it, and got in condition. I'm not. I'm not a G guy, but I didn't miss his fights either, though. Right? So I wasn't a Trinidad guy, but I didn't miss his fights. Whenever
Right.
Tito Trinidad fought, it doesn't matter, man. If you if a guy's, I'm a fan too, bro. But I'll say that G's chin is proven beyond measure, like beyond measure. Like that's some Marvin Hagler shit. That's some.
And his punching power
Yes,
too. I mean, he
yes,
was. I
yes.
remember. I remember when I became a huge fan of him because I used to like Macklin, right?
Hmm.
Matthew Macklin.
Yeah, I remember him.
Um, Mac the Knife. Remember they called him Mac the Knife. He
I
fought
know
when he
exactly.
fought when he fought Sergio Martinez. I thought that was a fun fight, and while it lasted, and Martinez for me was like the man back then. And
You
then
know who likes him? You know who loves that dude?
who?
Fucking Quentin.
Sergio
He loves
Martinez.
Sergio Martinez, man. He
Yeah,
thinks he's
yeah,
the
he was
fucking
nice.
bee's knees, bro. Like he
He was
loves that
nice.
dude for real.
He was nice in his time, and then but he was also very much like more of an athlete. I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
athletic
Completely a
guy.
rhythm fighter, athletic rhythm fighter.
But
Absolutely.
I remember when Triple G fought Macklin after that. I think he fought Macklin after that. He hit him so hard to the body that I think he broke his ribs, and that's when I was just like, "Damn, bro,
Yeah,
this guy is
that's another one.
gonna
He's
kill
coming.
somebody, bro."
He's coming.
Yeah,
Until Canelo, he didn't back away from nobody, and he didn't do that in the first one, right? So
yeah.
I think you have to attribute a lot of that to age, and towards the end,
Sly Tendencies says Catterall was absolutely robbed in Taylor's hometown. Tyson Fury is good friends with Taylor and said Catterall won 8-4.
I think that's how I seen this last, something like that. Very,
Yeah.
very, just like that.
Well, Coach, I think this was an impressive one, man. Over an hour and a half,
Oh
and I
shit.
think we did it justice, man. I mean, I think I think we talked about everything there is to talk about between this Plant and Benavidez fight. I want to thank all of you guys for joining us. Again, subscribe to the channel, join the channel. It's just $9.99 a month. Help me build. And obviously, reach out, show some love to Coach Collinsworth at Collinsworth Boxing Official. If you want to sponsor him or any of his fighters, you can do that. If you want to sponsor me or the fighters at FightersRep, you can do that, or just join the channel. Any super chats or anything like that, I'm going to split it with Coach on this series. So, definitely feel free if you're feeling generous, show some love. We're going to be doing this once a week, hopefully on Sunday live. So join
Sunday
us
we
live.
trying to do these Sundays, man.
What time? Like 1 p.m. Pacific time is best, or what do you think, Coach?
I think we either gotta do noon Central. Yeah, I don't want to confuse myself.
Okay, yeah.
Noon Central or like 6. Cause in
Okay.
between there seems like we've been trying to do this for the last month or two,
Right, right.
and we only 2 in. But it seemed like I gotta go do something in between those tasks. So if we knock it out about noon, 11 o'clock noon or 6, I think it's doable. I
I
think I'll
love
be
it.
able to set it up just about every weekend unless we got something.
I love it. I
Well,
love
how would you right quick?
it. Yeah.
How you see it? 2-1, 3-1, 4-1. How you see it?
What the plant
Plant
Benavidez
Benavidez.
fight? The odds?
Yeah,
Oh shit! I want to say 4-1, man.
yeah. I'm that wide. Okay, that's wide. That's tremendously wide. That's why people don't understand that that 43 to 1 upset for Tyson and Douglas. People don't. That was the biggest upset in sports history, not boxing.
Yeah.
Sports. Like he wasn't even supposed to come to the venue because a 4-1 is like no shot. You got no
Yeah.
shot to fight. So 43-1. That's why the bookings and shit didn't even carry it.
I feel
And
like a,
I'm with
I
you.
feel like
I'm with you. 4-1, bro. Like that big.
I feel like a jerk, man. Like I don't want people to think I'm a jerk or like we're just against Plant on this channel. I mean, it's
Dude,
not
I
what it's
can't.
about.
I
We're
can't
just
give
giving our
Plant no more
opinion.
props. I can't give Plant no more props than I
Yeah.
did. If
I think
listen, man,
it's
it's honestly how I handicap the shit, bro. How I feel about the kid, man. And if he wins, I'll be the first one crediting him, explaining exactly what I see, how he did it, and all that shit, man.
And I'll say this. I'll say this. As you know, guys, Fighters Rep is a kickboxing promotion, and the amateur portion is sanctioned by the IKF. And Caleb Plant was an IKF champ in kickboxing, at some point, I believe. So, I definitely
I've
believe in
heard
his
that.
skills.
They told me that.
Yeah, yeah.
He's a kickboxing guy. Yeah.
I think he's a tough kid, and all credit to him. I love what he's done so far in the sport. I love the mind games he's playing. I love everything he's been able to do with his ability. But I'm
Overachiever.
yeah, but I'm with Coach D on just the fighting style, just the technique that he uses, and I just don't think it's going to work out well against David Benavidez. That's all.
Mm-mm. Me too. I'm with you, bro.
El monstruo mexicano, ladies and gentlemen.
That's it, man.
Appreciate you, Coach. We're going to see you next week then, huh?
Appreciate the chat, man. All the people in there talking. It's a lot funner when they engaging and talking,
Smart
man.
people, man. Yeah, we got smart people in here, man. So
Yeah, and they all seem educated too. Regardless if they agree with us or not, that shit don't matter. They analyzing the fights, and that's what I like. Talking to people who like the fights and immerse themselves in who the fighters are.
yeah, yeah. And of course, guys, get your tickets to Fighters Rep 18, April 22nd at FightersRep.com. Join the channel to watch. You won't want to miss it, Coach. I got 18 fights lined up right now as we speak, bro.
You gonna be there all night, bro.
Amazing fights, though, man. Amazing fights. And it's just three 3-minute rounds, or 3 2-minute rounds, rather, with the Amis. So, it sounds like a long night.
So
But
it's like
an
an amateur. It's like an amateur show. Like how you do an intermission
Yeah, we do.
with
Well,
that
we
many
do
people, with
normally.
that many bouts.
Yeah, normally we do pro-ams, but even the pros with kickboxing, it's only 3 rounds. So I mean, it's not like a boxing
So
event.
time frame is like the amateur shows, like open,
4 or 5 hours. 4 or 5 hours.
like a national. Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, thank you guys, and thank you, Coach. We'll talk to you soon, brother.
Next week they fight Saturday, huh?
Let's do it. Yep.
I'm amped up, bro. Talk to you next week.
All right. Have a good one, guys.
Oh.